All right, we're back. We are back. I found what the problem was. Let's see. Yeah, I found what the problem was. The problem was I'm a bitch. The problem was is that I just got like I upgraded this computer, so I'm still having to figure out that I have to kind of make sure that the fans are on full blast at all times when I'm using it for anything else like this. When I'm doing this or when I'm playing games or recording and stuff like that, I have to kind of like put it out heavier. So I can't just like chill, not do nothing like the old one was, because the old one wasn't like doing too much, But it also didn't look as good, so it wasn't like putting out stuff. Okay, let me just uh okay. This is gonna be the fourth time I'm doing this, or the third time I'm doing this now. Okay, okay, okay. So what happened? Summer Games Fest is here. Summer Games Fest is currently happening. They showed the Xbox stuff. They showed the Xbox showcase. You saw me react to the Sony State of Play. I think that like my reaction enough was whatever, but uh tomorrow is the Nintendo Direct. Tomorrow is the Nintendo Direct, and because tomorrow is the Nintendo Direct at 10 a.m., I might be able to stream it. I was too busy spending like family time, basically watching the streams, to in order for me to like react to it. So instead, I'm going to right now individually react and give my thoughts to each one of the trailers that I found the most interesting, and they're gonna be obviously cut up and separated into YouTube videos for you to watch on the channel. So in the meantime, I feel like the first thing we're gonna start with that piqued my interest and piqued everybody's interest. Let's see if I can load this. If I can put this in a nice way here. Um, what the fuck, dude? What happened to the what happened to the fucking browser? What is this? Okay, that's not what I was looking for though. Fucking dumbass capture. Does it not have a look to the browser? Hold on. I thought I had one for the browser. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Window capture. Okay, and then we're gonna capture this window. Okay, because we're gonna capture this window. This is how all this works, guys. Fit to screen. No, you didn't fit to screen, bitch. Center to screen. And now we're gonna go wee. Oh, okay. We're not gonna. Well, I guess we're not gonna fucking go wee. Oh, cause it's doing the other shit. Motherfucker. Let's see. There you go. That's better. That's better. That's racist. Um. Yeah, we are going to react to the first thing here, which is Code Veronica. Code Veronica was announced. Um, Code Veronica was announced for everything. Now, if I have never played Code Veronica, but let's watch this trailer first. I swear, I was watching this with my girlfriend, and I was just like, "Oh, it's the fucking RE engine." Like I spent enough time playing Monster Hunter and Resident Evil that you could already tell what's the RE engine, you know? Oh, I hold on, I don't think you can hear the fucking. I'm not sure, but I don't think you can actually hear speakers. Yeah, let's try that again. Yeah, I think you can. You didn't miss anything, sound wise. Yeah, we were just talking about Code Veronica not that long ago because it felt like that was the next one to get a remake.
Yes.
Whoa, why they sound like that? They sound like robot. Yes. Maybe hold on. It's part of that. You know, having a computer these days is so hard. I'm not lying. Like audio property. Okay, let's try this again.
So, you're the American who called earlier.
Okay, this
The
sounds like-
sister of the man on the third floor. Ah, welcome to Paris. It's so nice to meet you. Brr, it's freezing. Come in. Come in. We don't want you to catch a cold.
Listen, as in New York, we
I
currently
hate to
have a
say
thing
it,
against the
but
Frenchmen
your
because
brother
we're playing
is,
against the Knicks.
well, quite odd.
So I don't
In
trust
we
this
go.
It's the way that the lighting was that I just
Oh,
gave
la, la.
off Resident Evil and the
Look
RE
at
engine.
that guy. He's made such a mess again. Think, I just cleaned it up a week ago. It's like a boulder rolled through here.
Yeah, of
Huh?
course.
Ah, the delightful biscuit.
Chris got a lot of weights around, man.
I'm
He
sure
really be
he won't
working out.
notice if we help ourselves.
And that's the I
I'm
wouldn't
so
say
sorry.
iconic, but in this
It must be the maintenance man from this morning.
generation of Resident Evil games, they use like the same exact phone noise. It's like the same exact one. And I feel like it was from it's a stock. I feel it's obviously stock. But I feel like it's the exact same stock audio that PT used. And I know I'm being crazy. I know I'm being like Resident Evil PT are related, blah, 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 blah. But whatever. I'm just saying, every time I hear that, I'm like, this is a Resident Evil game.
Won't be long. I'll bring some nice coffee to go with the biscuit.
You Frenchmen and your shit and your fucking drinks and biscuits. So there's a lot going on here. Why is Chris taking pills, cigarettes, candies, a floppy disk? I mean, I think this is still the 90s. Code Veronica takes place right after the Raccoon City incident where Claire goes to Rockford Island to find Chris. Shit. 1 second. But you know, your moms call you at the worst times. There's also the door. Listen, there was a lot of hints, right? Am I crazy? There's a lot of hints saying that it was Resident Evil. Especially because, like, what was the new one? 9 came out, and, like, they did a really good job. Shit, we're heading back. We're heading back to Rockford Island. They always do this creepy shit, man.
Don't move,
No, it wasn't in one Island, actually.
Claire Redfield.
So, Code Veronica, this is obviously going to be a great remake to Code Veronica. Oh, I don't even remember seeing this part live. Oh, shit. I don't remember seeing that part. Maybe because we weren't paying attention. No. Code Veronica takes place at Rockford Island. Rockford Island is off the coast of Alaska, or no, Antarctica, I think it was. And you basically, this is Code Veronica is the longest Resident Evil game. It's also critically, it, it's a 50-50 game because most people like Code Veronica because it's still like it's a PS2 game. It still gives off the classic Resident Evil style with like upgraded graphics and stuff because it is, I think it is, it's the first PS2 game actually before Resident Evil 4. Something like that. It's around the similar timing, so it's kind of different. But basically, no, because it was on the Dreamcast. My bad. It was like before the PS2. The PS2 got a version of it called X, Code Veronica X or whatever, and we got an HD version of that on the PlayStation Store now. So Code Veronica takes place on like you play, so it plays, it's 50-50 because it's so long. It's such a long campaign. It's the longest Resident Evil campaign because you spend a lot of time in the beginning in Rockford Island where you're like walking around the island trying to figure out, find these things. You run into the guy, this guy at first in the very beginning of the game where you're in the jail cell. He's like dying. You got to go get him medicine. And that's like a whole thing. Like if you don't get him medicine, if you're not fast enough to get him the medicine and come back, he dies. It's like a whole thing. It's very classic Resident Evil. I'm not gonna lie. But what I will say is that what people feel about it has always been 50-50. It's always been like, this is one of the most underrated Resident Evil games. And then a lot of people say, well, it's underrated or it's people feel a certain kind of way about it. It's because like they have a nostalgia for that style and it just is not good anymore. And it's like way too long. Because then you go to Antarctica. I think you do get to play as Chris. And it's a lot. What the thing that the most important thing is, in my opinion, which is great, we're gonna get a new character model for both Chris and for Wesker, because Wesker never shows up in Resident Evil. Like he's in Resident Evil 1, he gets killed. He doesn't show up in Resident Evil 2 because it's all Mr. X and the scientists, all this other stuff. 3 straight to Nemesis. He's not even in 4. Albert Wesker is not even in Resident Evil 4. He is a character that you could play as in Resident Evil 4 in the Mercenaries mode, and it shows off his super cool powers. But he's not the villain. The villain is that little Spanish kid, right? You don't get to see Wesker as the actual main villain if you're following the numbered series until Resident Evil 5, which is crazy. That's such a long gap between 1 and 5. Now, where you do see Wesker in between all of that is Code Veronica. There's a lot of like scenes in Code Veronica that have to do with Wesker. Now, let's just look this up real quick. Wesker, Code Veronica. See, Wesker has like a lot. He is the main antagonist in Code Veronica.
Lovely Claire Redfield.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Let's just say that I'm a ghost, coming back to haunt your dear brother.
Wesker?
Because Wesker is Chris's villain. Like Chris and Jill's villain. Every one of these Resident Evil games have like, every single one of the pro tags kind of have like their villain. It's so weird to think about it in that way because they're very action heavy zombie games. To think that they kind of have like their nemesis in some way is also really funny. So Chris and Jill, they were part of the STARS team. Wesker's the one that betrays them in Resident Evil 1. So it's kind of like this is our guy. This is the guy that we hate. And then in the DLC in Resident Evil 5, and also part of the story of Resident Evil 5, is that they're the ones that find Wesker again in the Spencer mansion, and they go and they kill him. Well, they assume he's dead. It's complicated. It's like here we'll play the cutscene for Resident Evil 5. Evil 5, Jill and Chris mission. So they released this as a DLC, but when you play Resident Evil 5 for the first time, Lost in Nightmare, that's what it's called. It's called Lost in Nightmare. when you play Resident Evil 5 for the first time ever, it is just like they go into this as a flashback, but they release this as a $10 DLC later on, where you get to play as Chris and Jill jumping into the Spencer mansion again. Wesker is here. He had just killed Oswald Spencer, right? And because he had just killed, there's a whole, you get to do a whole boss fight. It's fucking cool as shit. And Wesker is fucking crazy. Look at him. Look at all these superpowers he gets to fucking do. He dodges every bullet. He does it all, right? So then what you get to see in Resident Evil 5 is that not only do they try to whoop his ass, he is Chris's nemesis. This man has teleporting powers, bro. He can teleport. It's part of the fact that he like injected himself with like 2 different viruses. Also, this is the era of Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 where it's just action. They don't give a fuck about the zombie survival part. It is just action. He fucking look. He drags him so hard, yo. You need to see this. He drags him so hard against the table after choke slamming him that he scratches the table. He scratches. Yeah, Chris either shit himself or he scratches that whole table with Chris's fucking with Chris's equipment. Yeah, go ahead, grab him.
Let's finish this.
This is crazy. And this is what causes Chris to be depressed. Well, yes. It's a little bit. It's a little bit of both. So, as a reminder, from Chris's perspective, they beat Wesker in Resident Evil 1, right? He goes on this mission because he hears through back channels that Wesker still might be alive. And because he does that, he's always off. Chris is off in the darkness, always in the darkness, right? Claire, his sister, is just like, where am I gonna find you? I have to try to find you. And because she's trying to find him, she goes to Rockford Island. She goes to Rockford Island because she also hears similar things. Turns out Wesker's in Rockford Island. So that's the next time we actually get to see him. We get to see Wesker. We don't see him in the mainline series. This is the time where we see him in the mainline series again, you know? So it is interesting that we're going to get a character model, a full character model, new one for both Chris and for Wesker. Because we've seen Chris in Resident Evil in 7, 8, and not really 9. We didn't see him in 9. We saw his boys in 9, but we didn't see him. He has newer character models. He looks ugly in 7. And 8 is like more perfectly Chris. He looks closer to what he is supposed to look like. So we're gonna get like a playable section as Chris. Is gonna be Chris again in Code Veronica under the new RE engine. Maybe it'll give us some form of like what you call it. It will probably give us some respite, something about like, oh, maybe it'll give us a hint exactly like how did he get to do all of this with the BSAA? How did he get to the BSAA? Like, it might give more context because clearly in the post remake world of Resident Evil, we are like focusing on the new version of the Illuminati called the Connections. So that's why I feel like it's even worth diving into getting a Code Veronica remake altogether. So let's see what Chris has been doing here. He's been obviously taking pictures and scouting. There's a lot of detail work. I didn't think it was in France though. That's the thing that confused me a bit. I didn't know it was going to be in France. Or maybe this is just the beginning cutscene where she follows him to France. She gets kidnapped, clearly by who was it that grabbed her? There you go. I believe it's Hunk. I believe it's Hunk who grabs her. And then goes ahead It looks like she's on Rockford Island now. Just trying to make her way out. This looks like, yeah, this looks like this is Rockford Island. See, right here to the left is like kind of where you start the game from what I remember, or it's probably further back this way. But I remember there being like a burning vehicle, and it'll be like a jail cell. You have to work your way all through the island and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. They also changed Claire's character model from Resident Evil 2. They made her look slightly older, I guess it is. But it works. It works fine. I think Claire's gonna be. She's always been a protagonist that we only got 2 games with her, but at the same time, Jill is also a character that we only got 1 game. Well, Jill has 4 games by herself, but nobody played Revelations with the DS, you know. So I don't feel like it's fair. Like, it just feels like the women are segregated into side stories or like spin-offs more than the main line. Like, they'll debut the woman and then it's just the guys on the main line, you know. But I think this is fascinating. I think this works well. They dropped the name Code Veronica. Now they just call it Resident Evil Veronica. Will we see Steve? Will we see Alexis, like the other villain in Veronica? Who knows? We'll see when that comes out. In any case, do you have any theories? Do you think like what's gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen in Code Veronica? How do you think it's gonna play out? Hopefully Capcom gives us more details like over the weekend, update their website, so on and so forth, so we can know a little bit more about what's going on with Claire. All right. So thanks for watching. Come back and watch for the rest. Mind you, the stream is not over. These are just YouTube videos. Okay. So now on to the next thing, our next piece of media that we're going to go into. And you're like, oh, what, Jesse? What else did you find interesting? And it's fucking Gundam. Now, I found this wildly interesting. Why? Because I am not a Gundam nerd. All right? I'm not a Gundam head. I've never been a Gundam head. I'll never claim to be a Gundam head. What I will say is I have enjoyed Gundam Wing a lot. I'm still trying to get through the movie Endless Waltz. I have to rewatch it before I go back to work so I can talk about it with my friends. And I'm trying to work through another Gundam series right now. I'm trying to watch MS Team next. But I bought Gundam Breakers 4 for the PlayStation. It's okay. You know? So a cool new Gundam game would be really cool. And when I saw this, I was just like, oh, hell yeah. Mind you, when we saw this trailer, it glitched out for us personally. So I couldn't even really watch like a lot of it. I couldn't watch a lot of it, all right?
On Earth, mankind measured time by seasons, not sirens. For a
You're gonna
moment,
get better at
the
my
future felt
close to my actual reality.
They're inside! They're inside!
out here. That promise is a lie.
Oh, that's probably a little too loud. This looks crazy. I thought that was a Saku.
Every breath taken is inside an armored shell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're our last.
That's
hope.
fucking cool as shit. Oh,
Darkness
look at that.
coming for us.
Oh, they gave him pupils. That's so weird.
It remembers one man. The pilot.
Oh my god, this looks even better than when I saw it earlier. Oh, this is sick, bro. Oh, that's fucking amazing. I cannot wait. I hope this game does well because we need like an interesting Gundam game instead of just like
Find me. I'm here.
cosplaying stuff. Yeah, it looks good, right? Oh, that's what the main pro tag looks like. They look very American. And I say that knowing that all of Gundam Wing is like 4 different fucking nationalities, all right? You know, I'm not saying that it's not okay to not have a fucking an American looking pilot. So what's fucking awesome about this, right, is if you know anything about Doom, and I mean the recent Doom games, one of the things that they get praised the most for is the music, because it's really good heavy metal music, and it's because the composer Mick Gordon is a really good music composer and he's a huge metalhead. He actually is doing this. He confirmed it on Twitter that he is doing the music for Rogue Orbit. Oh man, look at this fucking. I know I'm really bad at pausing it at the right times, you know, but it's just so cool to see that we're doing this. We're doing this Gundam story where we're fighting aliens, because Gundam stories notoriously are soap operas, space operas about political problems, right? It's about like the colonies and Earth and how much they hate each other because like capitalism or whatever it might be, you know, something along those lines. So it's interesting that they're like, okay, well, we can't make a video game where like, I feel like Bandai Namco's like, let's stray away a little bit from the fact that we're going to be fighting each other, humans to humans, because there's a lot of craziness in Gundam. Let's make it so that we're fighting against aliens. But from what it looks like to me, in typical Gundam fashion, is that this alien attack is happening on the space colonies. Now, will this be canon to any of the Gundam series? I doubt it. They tend to like, it tends to be really weird about that type of stuff. But you can see that the alien killed the, I'm going to assume it's a random Zaku. And this is going to be the main Gundam. This is the main Gundam that we're going to be riding. Pause. This is the main Gundam that we're going to be piloting the whole time. I find it interesting because just like most protagonist Gundams, there's the V line on their forehead to kind of show off that they're like the protagonist. But they gave it pupils, which I'm not a Gundam enthusiast. And if you are a Gundam enthusiast, please tell me in the comments if this is like a common thing. But to make it seem a little bit more human is interesting. Because even in Gundam Wing, the pilots are obviously human, although they kind of feel like super soldiers. The mechs themselves have a weird, odd level of sentience that doesn't get really talked about too much in the overall world. This looks great. If we're fighting in the colonies and this is what the colonies look like, that's awesome. Yeah, this all looks like a bunch of fucking aliens are attacking. Yeah, it just looks like a bunch of aliens are attacking what seems to be the colonies. It doesn't seem like it's Earth. But that's really cool. Whoever this is, I want to know more. Bandai Namco better put out a statement, better put out information, better put out what's going on. Now, let's check this out real quick. I want to make sure that I see this. Where is that? Where is that shot? I need this shot. This shot is amazing. This is beautiful. This is such a beautiful look. The fire, everything, it just shines off the Gundam. Its name is Arc 10. Interesting. The Arc 10 Gundam. Let me see if I can find any info on the actual website. Gundam Rogue Orbit. It's on the Bandai Namco website. Okay. Let's pull this up here. Well, let's read this together. All right. Okay. This is Gundam Rogue Orbit. It's still developed internally by Bandai Namco. It hasn't said if it's another company. So we don't know if it's because we know that Platinum Games is working on a new Ninja Turtles game, which is cool. Become the pilot you were born to be, change humanity's fate in Gundam Rogue Orbit, a high mobility action that delivers a bold new take on Gundam, blending a fast-paced cinematic story with intense, hard-hitting combat in an all-new universe. See, I knew it wasn't going to be canon to the normal, typical Gundam line because they're trying to stray away from the fact that Gundam pilots kind of fight about each other. Like, war is war. So it is fascinating. The cinematic story of Gundam Rogue Orbit is a daring new chapter in Gundam Saga, built as a perfect entry point for new players and a thrilling evolution for longtime fans. You know, that makes the most sense. Take control and jump into fast and hard-hitting melee combat. Every fight rewards skill mastery, quick decisive action as you push your Gundam to its limits. It's probably gonna feel very much like character action, fast. It's not gonna be Souls-like, thank God. It's just gonna be super, super fast. And I think it's great. I think it makes sense to launch this or to have something like this. But that's Gundam Rogue Orbit. I really, really like the way this looks, honestly. This is really cool. Can I just need I want the actual fucking picture, bro. Can I have like the picture? Oh shit. You can wishlist it on Steam and stuff like that. Oh, these are all, I'm clicking all the wrong things. You're watching me click a million wrong things all at once. But yeah, this is great. This is great. I love this. I'm all in. I'm all in for this Gundam. Let me know what you feel about this Gundam. Are you excited for this Gundam game? Are you excited the fact that we're getting a Gundam game that isn't just like some gacha or some toy thing, you know? That this is like very interesting? Just let me know. All right, so next on the list, this is Vivarium. Now, this game shocked me. Vivarium actually surprised me with what it is. And I think this is a lot darker than what it's claiming to be.
Some years have a color to them. A haze that seems to fill the whole world.
It's so
In its
cool.
glow, you discover wonderful new places. Dear friends you always needed.
It's like calming.
And golden moments which linger on the warm breeze.
And the music is like so perfect.
As you live your days as dreams.
This is what gives me the feeling that it's a lot darker than what we think it actually is. Vivarium. So, okay. This is obviously a nod to 70s anime. Which, how often do you get to see a nod to 70s anime? More often than not, when you see any kind of reference to anime or something that gets like acknowledged or like a tribute to, it's usually from like the 80s and 90s and 2000s. Very rarely do you get to see media portray with love and respect to 70s anime. And I know a lot of people off rip in the comments. I saw it in the comments. I saw it in the live chat section of the stream saying, "Oh, it's very Ghibli-like." These Ghibli movies are obviously stylized in a very specific way by Miyazaki, but also they are drawn inspirations from 70s anime. 70s anime is like hugely influential. Now, we might be old heads now, you know, when we were growing up watching Toonami and Adult Swim and like a lot of the 90s animes that we watch, and like, you know, Ninja Scroll, Cowboy Bebop. But to us, true anime old heads have always been the guys like, yo, my favorite anime is like something of the Galactic Stars, you know, or Saint Seiya, or Lupin the Third, you know, like really old 70s anime. Even Gundam, even like, because Gundam's old. Oh, the first Gundam series is like 82, you know, so. But this is very, very 70s anime. And if you don't think so, I pulled up an article just so we can show real quick that we could draw the comparison. This is some bullshit article, and I say bullshit because I don't really know. I didn't follow up too much or whatever. So the 10 best anime movies and TV shows of the 1970s. As you can see, that these all draw from very similar styles, because every anime, every like 10 to 12 years in anime, styles change. It's very obvious. And if you don't think styles change, then you're blind. But I'm just saying styles change all the time in media. And for, as an example, to draw a comparison, for us growing up on the West, cartoons always looked a certain way from after the Looney Tunes came out. And then after that, when we got like the 90s era, like Hanna-Barbera style cartoons, we got a lot of those, a lot of Ed, Edd n Eddies. I got a lot of like Johnny Bravo, that style. Then Steven Universe and Adventure Time specifically came in and changed that whole style. So every couple 10 years, 10, 15 years or so, this happens. So it's happened in anime before, and this in the 70s, this is the style, the eyes, the way it's drawn, the sound. Animal Treasure Island, Tomorrow's Joe, which you can't see, Belladonna of the Sadness. Look at this. Farewell to Space Battalion Yamato. This is amazing. Space Battleship Yamato, I think, even got like a remake at some point. Taro the Dragon Boy, Aim for the Ace. You could just look at all these art styles. Look, Galaxy Express 999, the movie. The original Gundam. I know it's playing the Gundam Wing intro here, but the original Gundam is from like very late 70s, early 80s. Because it's a lot of inspired by Godzilla, Kaijus, and Ultraman. It comes from all that big monster things, you know? Lupin the Third. But what makes this such a great vibe for anime, for the aesthetic that it goes for, it's not just the fact that you can tell that it's very 70s inspired for the anime, and the music is like just on point.
That seems to
right?
fill the whole world.
Music is just beautiful. It's this touch right here is so perfect. It's so perfect because when you watch anime subbed over a long period of time, even the subtitles are often stylized in a specific way. And we're used to the fonts now and how they look and how like the evolution of the internet and fonts get put onto anime, what's decided as the most aesthetically pleasing. Usually if you go find either bootlegs or the official releases to a lot of these older 70s anime shit, I have, where is it? I'm gonna look it up in a minute. But I have Gatchaman on DVD, right? I have Gatchaman. This is a very, very, very old anime. I believe this also takes place in the 70s. Yeah, it's part of the 70s, late 80s, early 80s. Gatchaman is this. Now, the thing is that when you watch this, how look, it just comes like this. This is the official release, by the way. When you go, what the fuck is this video game? It's called Vivarium. So when you go and you watch older 70s anime subtitled, the subtitles are often yellow, and they're stylized like this. But man,
Fill the whole world.
there's something almost nostalgic about the music when you
In its
hear it.
glow,
The whistling.
you discover wonderful new places. Dear friends you always needed.
So cool. You
And
understand?
golden moments which linger on the warm breeze.
This is like, if you're Hispanic, bro, and you've watched in passing something from the 70s, like this feels like something you go to DR and they like put on anime by accident on TV and you see it as a cartoon. This is dubbed in Spanish and you're like, what am I watching? You know, because that's just how it used to be. There was on TikTok, there was a very famous trend about showing your Mexican grandmother or great grandmother or your whatever. It was called like Chiquita or something like that. It was a very old anime. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull up exactly what I'm talking about. Chiquita anime. 70s. Wow, who the fuck is this? I'm just pulling up some character name Chiquita. Mexican. Bro, this is gonna be so hard to find, and I'm gonna feel so fucking stupid when somebody else finds it in the comments. But there was a very, very specific like anime that I'm trying to think of that I saw it on TikTok. They would show their parents, their great grandparents, like, oh yeah, like remember this, and they would cry. They're like, oh my god, when I was a little girl, I used to watch that, you know, whatever. Anyways, people also saw like this this like creature here, and like, oh yeah, this must be Ghibli like. Bro, this shot here is very Lupin. Is very Lupin. Well, I will say though, you know, it just gives off this very dark vibe.
As you live your days as dreams.
Because you're this girl from the 70s. You're a 70s anime girl. But you're in a terrarium. You're in a terrarium the whole time. And it's called a vivarium. See what I'm saying? It's called a vivarium. It's where people live. To live. Viva. Life. Terrarium. Gotta lock into the words here, man. You're clearly living in this thing, and so many of the why is her friend Princess Peach? Exactly. Why is her friend another cartoon, like a very like prototypical, like what they would draw like as a white girl, you know, back then. By the way, friends, come on. I do find this interesting. So like she lives in a terrarium. Part of the thing, what I keep saying is sprout quickly, little tree, but can this small world contain you? Right? Because they start the trailer with like, what is this little sprout will
haze
grow
that
into?
seems
It's
to fill
constantly
the whole
questioning
world.
you, are you gonna break free of this world? Which I find fascinating. Another thing is that maybe it's the way that it's rendered, maybe it's the way that it's drawn on purpose. Oh yeah, Maddie would love this. The way that it's drawn, the way that it's like put out there, maybe it's just the way it's, and this feels like a doll. Like the way that the neck gets cut off here, it feels like a puppet. And even here, no, this is intentional. This is not a real person. This girl, her friend, let me see if I can skip to where she wakes up to her like laying down. There you go. I don't think her friend is real. Oh shit. I don't think her friend is real. It's like a
Dear
marionette.
friends you
Look, it has hinges for its arms. It's a doll. It's not a real girl.
always
That's so
needed.
fascinating. And you know what really trips me up about this is the fact that like you're like tending a garden, very Animal Crossing. Well, they want you to believe like it's very Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing with growing plants and stuff like that. I think that's a fucking red herring. it says tool equipped. You know, they're showing you the time. But why is she's crafting things? She's crafting things in this small world. She's breaking out of these whatever this is. Oh, by the way, this is a very Animal Crossing thing to do, to show that this is where you have to shovel, you know? And they even show that later on. But the fact that her best friend is a marionette. For a second, I had a theory here about the water. The wolf thing says that's probably irrational, though, right? Like, and then it gets dark.
Moments which linger on the warm breeze.
There's very clearly something very dark going on here. These people might not be real, but these are real things. Smoking, the arm is fine. This looks like a regular guy. You're clearly a regular girl. It was only the marionette that was like. And then we get to see that guy again. Very, very Papi Chulo right here, you know? These are characters we haven't met yet. This is the other guy who was smoking at the bar. But this character was scratched out. It seems like what I'm talking about might be surface of like, yeah, just you didn't get that from the second that you watched the trailer.
As you live your days.
But sometimes you have to sit there and watch. Also, washing machine. Washing machine? Washing machine. When was the washing machine made? Think about that. And they obviously end it in a way that makes you think like maybe this world is bigger than what it is. Honestly. This, I know people, I know my girlfriend is gonna say like, of course you're gonna think of this shit. This reminds me of one of my favorite games of all time. One of my favorite RPGs of all time. I wouldn't even say it's barely an RPG, honestly. It really is. Like because the RPG elements are fun. If you like Earthbound, if you like Undertale, this is up for you. It reminds me of Omori. Omori is one of the greatest stories I would have ever expected to come out of a game with this artistic style. It is so wildly interesting. It makes me want to play Earthbound, but you're never gonna find the twist in this game until you play it all the way through. You're literally like a child. I think you are Omori. So you're Omori. Something is happening. You're so disconnected, like emotionally disconnected from your friends. Everybody's happy, but your sister's gone, and you have to find out why and all this other stuff. It's very, very, very like. Look at the way it's played. Look at the way it's drawn. It's so beautiful. Let me see if I can put the audio for this. It gives off like, oh yeah, this is like NES, like Super Nintendo vibe. You know, that when we get to the battle system, is very inspired by Earthbound. There's like a lot of these enemies. You're fighting these enemies. Your characters have portraits, but they have emotions, and emotions matter. Like this game is insane. This game is truly insane. And that's the vibe. This Omori vibe what gives me. It gets crazy. There's nothing here that you're ready for. There's nothing you're ready for in this game when you play it. Play this shit blind. But this is the feeling that I get when I watch the trailer for Vivarium. Now, let's look up what Vivarium. There was a movie called Vivarium, a horror sci-fi movie, in 2019. That's interesting, you know. But there is who's making this game again? Let's I want to see what website there. It's called Studio Meadow Flower. Studio Meadow Flower. Oh, Serenity Forge, right? Serenity Forge. Okay, I don't know why the fuck this internet is deciding to act up right now. Let me just see. It seems like it's fine on every other aspect, right? Yeah, it's fine. My internet is running fine. Maybe is their website being slow? Yeah, their website's probably being slow. A cell anime game set inside a mysterious terrarium. It's fully hand drawn. That's insane. That is insane. And they've been working on this game since 2020. This is a long time. Thank God. Thank God these people are doing like real cool shit and are like making a game by drawing and not using generative AI. Step into a summer that never ends with a life sim adventure featuring hand illustrated art inspired by timeless anime classics. This is so fascinating, bro. Oh, look, see, I'm getting the vibe. I'm Gunther. I own this little shop. Oh, he was in the picture. He was in the picture that they showed for the trailer. But something doesn't feel right. There's something else going on here. I respect the fuck out of this game. Let's see what the description is. Step into a summer that never ends. You wake up in a golden haze of a late afternoon. The air is warm. Cicadas hum somewhere in the distance. And sunlight spills across your bedroom. And outside your window, there's a tiny world waiting. You play as 11-year-old Jenny, a bright and energetic resident of the terrarium. But this isn't just her story. Somewhere buried deep under the summer days and small town routines is another life. So you're not even playing as her. You are another character playing as that character. Unravel the mysteries of the terrarium. Beneath the nostalgic atmosphere of this close-knit town lies a hidden truth. Explore a perfect pocket world to reveal its secrets and progress through a non-linear narrative shaped by your choices. Meet the dear friends, a reclusive woman who slowly becomes something else, a shopkeeper that gives daily album recommendations, a funny postal worker who drinks like a fish and is a fish, or I guess that's him, a nosy retired bird watcher who keeps tab on the other townies, a wandering fortune teller who seems to know too much. You gotta make new recipes, tending to your gardens, collecting stickers, vinyls, of classic novels, crafting items and decorating your home, repairing equipment, and preparing for tomorrow's adventure. Fascinating. Truly, I gotta zoom into a lot of this stuff. I forget that like it's not easy to see on your screen. Yeah, this is so cool. There's no real release date besides that it comes out next year. I mean, everybody's trying to avoid GTA right now, which is very smart. But this is a game that I am definitely gonna play. Is it a secret horror game? It's possible it's a secret horror game. It really is possible that it is. And if it is, amazing. Like shit like this is like tends to be like, oh wow, you'll never find a game like this. It's a gem. It truly does matter. It truly is like impactful and it leaves a good impression on people. So I hope it's a secret horror game, or at least it's like it tells a really interesting story. Obviously, there's different tools she can equip. You have to keep time, but you're also playing her. I just want to know where this game is going. Yeah, even though comments are like praising it. This game has been, somebody said they've been working on this game since 2019, which lines up with the Twitter post that we just saw. But wow, this is like so crazy. It's so well made. Send this. If you know anybody that would like this, send it to them. Send it to Vivarium. Send it to them. All right. That's my thought process for this is how I felt about Vivarium. A very interesting game. Very interesting game, very interesting music, all of it. It was great. Now, let's move on to the next. This one is like a big one. This is a really big one. Tifa is in Street Fighter 6. Tifa is in Street Fighter 6. We're watching the trailer of year 4 of their battle pass.
Street Fighter 6 is already entering year 4, but I can sense that we already have new challengers on the horizon.
Yasmin looks cool. These are the first 3 characters are brand new characters. Like Arjun, he looks dope. And in the story mode, Bosch is like your best friend slash rival slash he backs up.
Fascinating.
Sean is not in Street Fighter 6. Not yet. This is the next year for Street Fighter 6. How do I feel about this? Now, we haven't gotten original characters as part of the DLC since the first one with Aki. I'm gonna guess that Yasmin, that's tough. Her hair, the fact that she uses like I don't even know what you call it, but the fact that she has like this weapon, almost like a hunting knife. She's obviously gonna be like close combat. Maybe a little further than that. Maybe a little further than close combat. Maybe she's a disciple of somebody. Maybe she has a scar on. It's hard to tell exactly where she's coming from. Bosch, you would have to play like the world tour mode, like the single player mode, like all the way through. But basically, he is just your rival. He is like, he kind of has his own fighting style. He's there. He betrays you. He doesn't mean to betray you. It's because they were held him for hostage. It's like a whole thing. It's like a storyline or whatever. So I don't expect much from his fighting style to be like what a Luke knockoff. Arjun, Yasmin might be related to that ninja girl from Third Strike. That's true. She might be related to Ibuki. That's a good observation. She might be somewhat related to Ibuki, making her somewhat of a ninja. I wouldn't be mad at it, you know, giving us more ninjas. It does kind of give that vibe a little bit, you know, but kind of a savage. So it's a little bit here and there. Yeah, Ibuki. Arjun, I know a lot of people in the comments and in the videos kept saying like Arjun gives off like Daoism because Daoism can like do all this shit, you know, there's a lot of like yoga likeness. I have a feeling he's more like Hakan. And if you don't know Hakan is from Street Fighter 4. Hakan is like an oiled up guy. Hakan is like this oiled up wrestling guy. Let's see, Hakan SF4. Yeah, to me, for some reason, to me, I get the vibe of Hakan. He is just like this guy who will oil himself up. And becomes very slippery. A lot of his moves, he can slip, he can slide, you know, stuff like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's the muscleness of Arjun that I feel like it's similar to Hakai. It could be Daoism related. Who knows? Maybe all three of these are supposed to be disciples of like characters in the story. Who knows? Tifa's the big one. Now Tifa is the big one because they had said that Tifa is different. Tifa's different because Tifa's gonna have her own, they're gonna use the materia system for her fighting style in Street Fighter 6. But they said that she has a whole different like mechanic going on with how she plays that they can't reveal. And I'm guessing it is because of what we see in Final Fantasy VII Part 3 Revelation, where we have we have to call it something called a fit system. We'll get there after this. But it's like whatever mechanic they're trying to introduce in Revelation might be implemented into Tifa. And it lines up a little bit because the release date for Tifa is very close to when Revelation is going to come out. Do I see, let me look up Tifa SF6. I'm trying to see if I can see the Twitter post that they put out, or at least what is their a beloved Final Fantasy VII character is getting rebuilt from the ground up for Street Fighter 6. She has her own magic system. Yeah, she's gonna get her own, literally her own thing. According to the fighting game director Takayuki Nakayama, the Avalanche member will be arriving with her materia power reimagined as a new gameplay system. Everything from her design to movement has been rebuilt as Tifa the Street Fighter. But he won't show more. I know they showed like just a picture of how she's drawn, but they won't show any renders yet. It is very fascinating that they're doing this. Now, yes. Have we gotten Final Fantasy characters in fighting games before? Of course. You know, it is very interesting. So I think that we have to like go back into some of where this first started. And one of the very first things we have ever gotten for Final Fantasy and Street Fighting, and fighting at all, is Urg-hai's God Bless the Ring for PS1. Now, in Urg-hai's, we were able to play, let me skip around a little bit. These are a lot of the characters that are standard in Urg-hai's. But we got to play as Cloud, right? So even there, he does like the meteor move. Tifa was in this game. That's her super. She has alternate colors. They all have alternate colors. I know it says Django. That could be red. That could be Red 13, unless they put Red 13 in it. Who else? I know who else is in this. Skip ahead a little bit. Sephiroth is in here. The shirtless Sephiroth also has the alternate costume. Yuffie's in this game, which is really cool. Vincent, pre-Turk Vincent, or Turk Vincent versus Vampire Vincent. Great alternate color. And then also, I guess the super shows off the demon for whatever. Zack. This is crazy. Zack as a character. So it's not like they haven't been in a fighting game before. The next time that we see them in a fighting game is Cloud in Smash 4. In Smash 4 Wii U and 3DS, Cloud this is his first debut. Because we didn't expect for us to get Cloud in Smash Brothers. What? Cloud in Smash Brothers? That's insane. That's some Game Facts level bullshit that somebody said. I have a guy, my uncle works at Nintendo type shit, and Cloud's gonna be in it. You know? And Cloud is actually really fun in Smash Brothers. He's not ridiculous. You know? So that's the next time that we see a Final Fantasy character, right? From my recollection, into a video game. Then we get Noctis in Tekken. They add Noctis in Tekken 7, which honestly, they should have brought his ass back. You're like, wow, they really added another Final Fantasy character, or a Final Fantasy character in Tekken? I remember at the time people were discussing that he should have been in Soul Calibur, but now knowing how bad Soul Calibur, like as a franchise, has done, it makes more sense to have just put him in Tekken. By the way, Tekken, Bandai Namco, I want people to know that. I want this to be on record and understand. Bandai Namco has had a relationship with Square Enix for a while, and with Nintendo. And because of that, there's a lot of, I know you, you know me, we can help each other out. There's a lot of favors, a lot of friends. They all shake hands. Bandai Namco took over the development for Smash Brothers, I would say around Brawl. Brawl was the first one. Then they did for Smash 4, then Smash Ultimate, which is still technically Smash 4, but Smash Ultimate. That's all Bandai Namco. Completely all Bandai Namco. So they're like, okay, cool. Like, we also know the people at Final Fantasy. We're kind of friends with them. Let's see. They get Cloud in Smash. That's great. Oh, Cloud did really well in Smash. It sold a lot of units and sold a lot of downloads. How about we work together and bring over this guy, bring over Noctis into this? And you're like, all right, cool. Noctis ends up being top tier in Final Fantasy 7. I'm sorry, in Tekken 7. He ends up doing really well. People really love playing Noctis, right? Cool, great. So what do we get? We get in Smash Ultimate, not only did they bring back Cloud, but we also get Sephiroth added into Smash Brothers, which is probably one of the craziest reveals we've ever seen. Like, Cloud was great, but I would have never expected Sephiroth to actually show up in a Smash Brothers game. And he does well. Sephiroth is a fucking menace in this game. He's very annoying to play against. I despise dealing with Sephiroth because that sword is very aggravating. Because they keep it true. It's super long. It has huge range. Some of the startup is like kind of slow, whatever, but it's great. And he just does really well. Look at the fucking Aerith reference, you know? And they love doing this. So, is it that ridiculous? No, because you know what happens after this? Jesse, how could they keep doing it more? Clive is in Tekken 8. Clive from Final Fantasy 16 is in Tekken 8. Which is sick. That's cool. I haven't played 16, but that's awesome. They added another. They're like, well, Noctis did really well for Tekken. It sold them a lot of units. It sold them a lot. So it makes perfect sense that they would go and like, all right, well, let's not use Noctis. Let's try to get somebody that we kind of know, and let's get Clive. Now the problem is, around this time, because we got used to a Final Fantasy character being in Tekken, people start asking, when can we get Tifa? Just like how we wanted Noctis and Soul Calibur because we thought it was more fitting. When can we get Tifa in Tekken? And Harada said, we'll see. Because they were asking. There was a whole Waffle House situation, but they were asking. Apparently they were asking. Because in an interview with Max, like, let me see if I could pull up this interview with Max. Max Tifa. He interviews the Final Fantasy VII Revelations director. Oh, I got mad lucky. So he asked them like, why Street Fighter? Why Street Fighter did you decide to put Tifa in? And his response was, so not just Street Fighter, but we had many different game IPs asking for her to be included, which basically confirms that Tekken, Bandai Namco probably reached out. I was like, well, maybe we should put it in Tekken because of, you know, they want to ask and we'll see where it's going. So, but as smart as they are, and they're very smart with marketing and how, making sure these things get pushed out, they understand that the value of a Final Fantasy character in a fighting game is very high. And that value only skyrockets more when it's beloved. When it's Tifa. When it's Tifa in a video game that we've been expecting to get to her, she's going to be very, very beloved and she's going to be very wanted. So what do they do instead? They hold her off till Street Fighter 6, which makes the most sense. Now, if you know how these relationships work, or if you heard me say this before, this is a lot. All right, I'm gonna have to go into another half tangent. Okay, Kenny Omega is a wrestler. Kenny Omega loves wrestling. Kenny Omega loves Final Fantasy. So Kenny Omega, what he decided to do, or what was helpful, is that for the promo for Street Fighter 6, right? Kenny dressed up as a bunch of Street Fighter characters. Okay? He's like, this will be cool, this will be fun. He dressed up as this past year's DLC, which was Alex, right? Then he does get into the absurd a little bit. And by absurd, I mean, I never expect him to go full on. Dresses as Sea Viper. This is great. This guy loves anime. This guy loves a fighting game. He loves wrestling. He loves RPGs. This is like very, very well, like, this is a guy who really understands it. and he dresses as Ingrid. Mind you, he also chose the old Ingrid outfit because I don't think they knew what Ingrid was gonna look like at this time. So it is really cool that he did all this stuff, right? And then at the end, he dresses as Sagat with the bald cap, right? Now, Kenny Omega has a move called the One-Winged Angel. Now, in order to be able to name something like that, synonymously, these things are trademarked. And when he created the wrestling move called the One-Winged Angel, he got basically he got approval from Square Enix to be like, okay, you can name it the One-Winged Angel, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna show you what the One-Winged Angel. I'm gonna do the reverse of this YouTube video. This is Kenny Omega's One-Winged Angel, right? So it's real. His what a One-Winged Angel is basically for wrestling, non-wrestling fans, is that he puts you in a almost a power bomb position, and instead of slamming you down, he actively turns you around, which is it's already tough to turn somebody around on your neck. There's a lot of neck burn, right? So he puts out, he shoves one leg out, so the wing is out. The one wing is out. Then he grabs you by your neck and then slams you forward. So they had shown this is Kenny Omega's finisher. It's called the One-Winged Angel. He named it after Sephiroth. So not only did he do promo for Street Fighter 6, they went ahead and acknowledged, like, yo, Kenny, you want to do the mocap for Alex because we want to make Alex look more like a wrestler because he is a wrestler. So he goes, okay, cool. He does all the mocap. And then they put it so that if you have a critical art, which is basically if you have your level 3 super, your max super, but your health is like really, really low when you do it, a different cutscene plays. But this time for him, for Alex, it's not a different cutscene. It's literally the One-Winged Angel. Now, if you don't believe so, I'm gonna go into some real wrestling shit real quick. Kenny Omega used to be part of a group called the Bullet Club. That was their fucking that was their thing. That was their thing. You probably seen it in the past 10 years. You probably saw it all over the place. Fat white guys, all these nerds had a huge t-shirt on and said Bullet Club. There's a lot of great wrestlers that came out of Bullet Club, and that was like their thing. Not the moaning, but that's their thing. That's always been their thing. So you see Alex do the Bullet Club thing, right? He looks like Kenny a little bit. He puts, what did we just say? What did we just see? We saw Alex do the same thing, right? He goes ahead, he grabs Luke, but you know, this is a video game, so he doesn't need to turn him around. He's already turned around. So he puts Luke over his shoulder, he puts out the one wing, and then they show the one wing. They show the one wing. The One-Winged Angel, they show it, right? And then he sets him with his finisher. You know what that means? That means someone at Capcom had to get approval from Square Enix to be like, yo, this is what we want. And someone Square Enix said, yeah, sure. And because of that, they're like, okay. It did well. People like it. Maybe you want to give us Tifa. Maybe we can work together. And come to find out, because of the way Revelations lined up in the timeline, we now got Tifa in Street Fighter. We now have Tifa Lockhart in Street Fighter 6. Crazy. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. So if you're also excited for Tifa, if you're also excited for this, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Break it down to me. Anything. I'm here for you. I'm listening to you. We're all together for you, right? Who are you gonna play? Because I'm gonna jump back into Street Fighter 6 because of this. I've missed out on like a lot of the game, but I'm definitely gonna come back to this battle pass specifically, not just because of Tifa. That's the obvious choice, but these three characters, I want to know how they play as. So I find it interesting. They've done their job. They sold me. I'm coming back, baby. We're coming back to Street Fighter. Now, we are at the final end. We are at the end. No, we're not. We're not at the end. We're almost there. We're almost there, child. We're almost there. And if you can hear me, Dom, we're almost there because right now we are talking about the big boy. We are talking Final Fantasy VII Part 3 Revelation. And we're gonna watch this trailer together.
A shadow fell upon our planet. Guided by calamity, one man sought dominion through reunion. By his will, a star fell. A meteor called forth to bring ruin to all. But our planet answered, awakening mighty weapons to stand against this celestial threat. Now,
This is
hope
crazy.
endures in those who fight.
Long story short, the world's in trouble. Has
Wow,
been
you
for
can
a
see the
while.
meteor in the
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
The way Vincent just jumps off the screen is great.
You're mine.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'll make this quick.
I'm such a huge Vincent fan.
Good night.
This is
The
so
sky's
good.
the limit.
I find it interesting that they decided
I'll make
Sid
you
to have
proud.
like a whatever.
Just ain't your day.
This looks so good.
Is that a weapon I see?
Far as I can tell, these things don't distinguish between friend and foe.
Save
And we gotta
the
fight the
planet by
weapons, the
killing her
emerald weapon,
protectors.
the sapphire weapon, the ruby weapon.
Let us put your faith to the test, Cloud.
This is fucking wild, bro. Revelate, because we're about to be revealed.
Never would have made it this far without you guys.
Everything will be revealed.
And I won't let you down. I promise.
At
Jesus.
last, the promise is fulfilled. The journey ends here.
Oh, there's so much to this. Oh, I still get goosebumps.
Filled.
It's coming out on everything. You can't see it because of the stream, but right here it says switch to PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC, Steam.
The journey ends here.
This is the best callback because the voice actor that they used for that, saying that the journey is here, is the same guy. Where is it? Cloud. No, Cloud. Final Fantasy VII Remake teaser. The one where they're walking. Oh, the 25th. Bro, this was 11 years ago. This is 11 years ago.
Long ago, we looked upon a foreboding sky.
They got the same guy.
The memory of the star that threatened all burns eternal in our hearts. In its wake came an age of silence.
And this is like so crazy to see.
Yet with each fond remembrance, we knew those encountered were not forgotten.
Fucking
That
piano
someday
shits.
we would see them again. Perhaps it was no more than wishful thinking.
I couldn't believe we were even getting this as a
But after the long calm, there are now the beginnings of a stir. The reunion at hand may bring joy. It may bring fear. But let us embrace whatever it brings.
It might bring joy.
For
It
they
might bring fear.
are coming back. At last, the promise has been made.
The promise has been made, chat. The promise. The promise has been made. And then what does he say in the new trailer?
Last, the promise is fulfilled.
The promise is fulfilled. We got what we wanted. a full remake of Final Fantasy VII in modern graphics, new but different. The story's the same but different. It's fascinating. It's crazy that they're doing this. They're finally putting out part 3 called Revelation. Now, you had asked a very specific, important question about a rebirth, right? Because the game is called Remake, Rebirth, Revelation, right? All 3 parts. The titles are almost a commentary from Sephiroth's point of view. Remake, he's remaking the world. And Rebirth, he has come anew. He's rebirth. He's being born again based off of what he wants to do. We don't know what he wants to do because in part 3 is going to be revealed. The revelation is coming. That's what makes this so interesting. And I hate when people say, oh, 3 games for a fucking 30-hour PS1 game. If you don't play these games, you're not going to know. So spoiler for Rebirth Part 2. No, they can't call it Reunion. They couldn't call it Reunion because Reunion was the remake remaster HD port of Crisis Core. They call it Crisis Core Reunion, right? Because that is more of a reunion, right? And he was asked about this, and he said Reunion was never on the table. It was always going to be between two or three different titles, and Revelation ended up being the one that wins. What's the craziest thing about this is that if you play the original Final Fantasy, right? I'm going to give you a fat fucking spoiler warning. And it seems crazy because we never used to have to do this as we got older because everybody knew this. It became a meme within itself and it became like its own thing. But because of how Final Fantasy has changed over the years and how this remake has gone on to be, I got to give this video and anybody else watching or listening, even in passing, a fat fucking spoiler. In the end of disc 1 of the original game, Aerith dies. Aerith gets stabbed to death by Sephiroth. He comes down with the blade and stabs her and kills her. It sets the whole journey completely different. Cloud is fucked up. He's in a wheelchair. He's fucked up, right? And everything it breaks everybody's brain. It's the most depressing thing that happens in this game. And all the characters are actively like destroyed by this. Now, what makes this different? We know now, at least to some extent, that the remake trilogy takes place after everything. It takes place after the game. It takes place after the side game. It takes place after the movie. It takes place after everything. And it's a remake of that world. We are playing a remake of that world. It's going again, but things are not lining up the same way that they used to. Sephiroth is showing up in remake in a way that he didn't used to in the original. He keeps popping in alleys and fucking being all oogie boogie to Cloud to fuck with him, kind of to get him on the path that he wants to in the first place. There's information that Aerith is telling you as the player that she's not supposed to know yet. She's not supposed to know until like the very end of her own life. Why is she telling me this in the beginning of Midgard? It is because this is not the same exact world that we're living in. We're going through the same steps. It's like a dream. It's a dream that you've had before. It's like a really weird deja vu. So it's fascinating. So when you ask the very important question, did Aerith die in Rebirth? The answer is maybe. Maybe. Because you know what the one thing you see in this fucking trailer that you don't, the one thing you don't see in this trailer? Where the fuck is Aerith? Where the fuck is Aerith? Right? She's not here. So did she die? But when you play Rebirth and you get to the end, it leaves it in a very confusing, very, very confusing end. She died, maybe she didn't. Now, I say that because Rebirth. Let me use the other tab. Rebirth ending. So, as you can tell here, when you're playing Rebirth, you go through the Temple of the Ancients. And the Temple of the Ancients is where Aerith dies, right? That is where she dies in the original story. the way that it gets framed, it leaves it off like maybe she did die. But did she get stabbed? That's what I'm saying. You're asking, but did she get stabbed? Maybe. We don't know. We actually don't know if she got stabbed or not. Let me see if I can find exactly the moment. Aerith Rebirth. Because this is like very confusing. Because even if this is the actual cut, mind you, this is the actual cutscene in Rebirth. Now, if you don't know, it's hard to explain. You see the ghosts and shit. Don't worry about that because it's some timey-wimey shit that whether they're trying to get in the right timeline or not, whatever. That's not important right now. That's a deeper conversation. What you're watching, this would be the scene in the original where Cloud is being controlled to kill Aerith, but he breaks it off. But does he break it off? You don't know. Look, you're mashing the controller. You're mashing L2 and R2. You don't know what happened. He's going hard. He's trying to fight against it. He's trying to fight against the destiny of the original, of what he wants to happen. Sephiroth's wing comes down. Sephiroth comes down. You're like, oh my god, it's happening. But he says no. He stops him? And you're like, oh my god, he prevented her death. She didn't die. She's fine. But remember that even in the original game, and in here, you cannot trust Cloud. You cannot trust his Cloud's perspective at all. He's 100% an unreliable narrator. He cannot be trusted with what he saw. Because now you see the time is shifted. There's blood on the floor all of a sudden. Sephiroth's blade is out. I just saw Cloud stop. Wait, she did die. Wait, what the fuck just happened? Was that his imagination? What was going on? We don't know. We never even saw the blade go inside her back to kill Aerith. This is what we see. And we can't trust Cloud's perspective because we just got two different perspectives, two different cutscenes for the exact same scenario. So can we believe it or can we not? Right? He tells her, don't cry. He starts crying.
Such clouded eyes.
And he tells him, you'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes.
However, you'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes.
You can't trust Cloud. You can't trust his perspective in any way whatsoever. The ending confirms it even more so when this is the end of the game. This is the very end of the game. This is the very end of Rebirth. Right? Now, all the shit that just happened in the Temple of the Ancients, we've moved on. We're about to go, I think that we're going to Rocket Town now. In this the baby Highwind, or whatever the fuck it used to be called, whatever, right? And the thing that's the most important is noticing everybody else. Aerith is there, but wait, I just saw her get stabbed. I thought she was dead. But the environment around her is not reacting to Aerith. The characters aren't reacting to Aerith,
So,
nothing.
What Aerith actually do anyway?
Sid spoke about her in past tense. What did she do?
Well,
she's right there.
And with that, we are cleared for takeoff.
Right? We cut to Nanaki and Tifa, and they're crying because what if she did die? What if she did die and they're depressed? And this is because now it's confirming she's dead. This is confirming that she's dead, right? We didn't see her get stabbed, so what the fuck happened earlier? Well, you know what does fucking happen? Cloud sees her. Cloud sees her, and she encourages Cloud to like move on or like keep going, right?
You gonna be okay getting back?
And if I said I wasn't?
They're talking to each other. You cannot trust Cloud. He is literally going crazy. In the original, this man was in a wheelchair for weeks in a hospital going. You can't trust him. You can't trust him. So there is no definitive yes or no if Aerith did get stabbed, if this even happened. We have no. That's the whole point of Revelation. We don't know the truth because we're seeing it with clouded eyes. Clouded eye. I'm a rapper. Clouded eyes. Cloud is here. He has eyes and it's clouded. You know? So that's the answer to your question. Notice how she's not there. She's not there. She's just not there.
Long story short.
I'm going to have to break that part down to a separate, whatever. But it's interesting. So.
World's in trouble. Has been for a while.
It's cool. We get to see. We're on the high wind. We get to see the meteor. Right? This is it's cool. We see the meteor in the high wind. Apparently, the way that they had described it is that about 5 hours into the game, we're gonna be able to just get the high wind, and we could travel all over the world off rip, and we could just do parachute jumping and land and seamlessly land. Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime. I also think it's really fucking hilarious and cool that their person. Look, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is this man doing? Why is he jumping down with his feet first? He wants to be an edgy fucking lord, right? Whatever, right? I do like the combat that they, that he has. A lot of the story here. Now, this is important. This is lore important, right, to me. Right here is all the embodiments of Sephiroth, like the guys with the cloaks. That's supposed to be like Jenova's witness, right? And he's carrying Cloud.
Reunion by his will.
He's carrying Cloud. But you know why? Because he at some point he kidnaps Cloud. He is Cloud's real body. It's very confusing, but it happens. But that's what it is. Also, by the way, they changed the voice actor for Sephiroth to the guy Travis Willingham, who does the voice for Mustang and Fullmetal Alchemist, and like a million other things, right? So that is how I feel about the trailer. I think it's fucking really cool that we see we see all of this stuff. Actually, I didn't even give my full thoughts on this actual trailer. I just went into a huge tangent about what happened with Aerith, right? Okay, so there goes yeah, you get to jump out the parachute, which is really cool. We're back here. We're in Wutai, which is, it looks like Wutai. This is really cool. We're walking around. We do get to, I think in the last game we get to decide who we want as the leader to walk around and stuff. But I like that they actually showcase it a little bit.
You're mine.
Vincent looks great. I love that you can change it to that form at any time.
Good night.
The sky's the limit.
Sid with this weird dragon lance. I guess because he's supposed to be a dragoon.
I'll make you proud.
Makes no sense, but whatever. They have like this new fit system, which is basically a custom loadout.
Is that a weapon I see?
As far as I can tell, these things
Fighting the weapons seem to be really fun and interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
don't distinguish between friend and
Because it's
foe.
not just gonna be punching
Save the planet by killing our protectors.
It feels really different. And it feels like so the thing is about this is that this is the gameplay overview, right?
Long story short, the world's in trouble.
What we see.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
You'll descend seamlessly.
So yeah, basically we get to jump down straight from the highway, right?
At any moment in the open world,
And land
simply
wherever we
pilot the
want
Highwind to your
seamlessly.
destination and take a leap of faith. With the wind rushing past, you'll descend seamlessly from the sky above to the ground below.
Which just takes a lot of work.
Where
to
will
be
the
able to
winds
do
guide
that,
you
like,
first?
behind
That
the
freedom
scenes.
is in your hands. But no matter your destination, to defeat your enemy,
That's cool.
you'll need a
Get back
fighting
to the
chance.
highway.
And that starts with
Shout
your
out to
trusted
Reno.
allies. At long last, with the world teetering on a blade's edge, everyone assembles a
So I think what's gonna happen, or how this game is gonna shape out, is story-wise, is obviously we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna find out more truths. We're gonna fight the weapons, because the attack on Junon happens. From one of the weapons destroys Junon altogether, or at least destroys most of Junon, right? So I think from the gameplay aspect, our goal, what we'll get to do from the original series, I mean the original Final Fantasy, is we'll get to fight the weapons like we used to, and when they were optional. One of them was mandatory, but the other two were optional. I feel like they're all gonna be mandatory, which is cool, right? It gives people to experience that thing. We're finally probably gonna get to go to the ultimate weapons, like our ultimate weapons. So if you don't know, if you never played Final Fantasy VII before, or a lot of older Final Fantasy games, I should say, usually they have ultimate weapons. 10 does it really well. This does it really well. Where there's a weapon that is perfect, like is their best weapon altogether, is their ultimate weapon. It has a very specific name. Each one of them has very specific names, right? So in the original, to get their ultimate weapon, you had to do like a side quest for each one of the characters, you know? And Vincent, to me, is the most interesting, because I like Vincent, is that you have to go to the waterfall and find Lucrezia still crystallized and talk to her and kind of get over your trauma from being in love with Lucrezia and then being dead for like 30 years in a coffin on the ground. And then Lucrezia is still kind of dead, but she had Sephiroth. And so she's like your lost lover. It's like a whole emotional story. So I feel like we're going to do the same thing with everybody. And which is why they say they're focusing on everybody's story coming to the end. I feel like that's the first half of this game. The second half of this game is the hits. It's this is what's happening. This is what this game has always been about. This is what this trilogy has always been about. You'll get to play as Zack. You'll get to see why Zack is still alive. It'll make more sense. It makes the most sense now. Now you can go back and play the other 2 games, or play all 3 games in a sequence where you're like, oh, you know? So I feel like that's what they're planning on
forming
doing.
an epic ensemble.
Now they introduced something called
and refined
the
rebirth.
the combat has gotten better from what it looks like. But what they're doing is that they're introducing the fit system. But before we get to the fit system, I want to show off my boy Vincent. So obviously Vincent has a gun, which is very different than everybody else, because Barret has a fucking brrr. So you're like, all right, he already has a gun. We already use a gun. How do we, what difference does it make? Well, if you ever played his PS2 game, it's a very on-rail shooter. It's not very fun. The story's like,
gunslinger.
But it's clear that it's taking some aspects of that to make it feel like, oh, this is how Vincent plays. And the fact that we get to play as Vincent now is really fun, because when we got Vincent in Rebirth, we didn't really get to play as him, but he was like kind of like a character in the background that would help us fight at the last parts of the game.
Their high impact synergies
but it's so cool to have more of these characters have synergies, so they can fight together, do combos together, do all this cool shit.
Sid Highwind.
Sid Highwind.
The cantankerous pilot extraordinaire joins the party.
Oh man,
and their
this
mission
just
to
looks
defeat Sephiroth.
non-stop fun.
Sid's command of his lance allows him to rapidly
This got me so hyped that I am gonna platinum Rebirth, because they updated it so you could just play it like max. Listen, Dom, if you want to go back and play Rebirth and play Remake, because you haven't or whatever, or you didn't get the chance to, or you just don't want to like finish it because there's a lot to do, they made it so that you could just go to the options, put level 9999 on everything, max out everything, and it doesn't disable trophies. You could just go ahead and have a good time, you know? So now they're introducing something called the fit system, right? So it's basically alternate outfits that it's a job system. So now, for example, they show Cloud, right? And instead of his freelancer gear, he's in a warrior gear.
Function integrated tactical,
which has like this weird tactical vibe to it. It's very slim, right? But some of the weapons have changed, right? Some of the weapons have changed. The weapons, the accessories, maybe the materia changed a little bit. Let me see.
Try this on for size.
I can't tell. I think that's green, green, yellow, green. Buster Sword, Wood Bangle, Power Wrist.
Function integrated
Go
tactical
to Warrior.
super, or the
Green, green, yellow, green, red, blue. Okay, it's still the same, but you can. It seems like it'll adjust if you have more things, you know.
fit system for
Because
sure.
they'll do it for her. They'll do it
Allows
for
you to further
Tifa,
customize your
and then
play
makes her a
style with
black
new
mage. So give her a
uniforms
black
and
mage
new
outfit,
unique
and then she gets like the black
Alongside
mage,
your equipment and materia, Fits
she
gives
gets
you
like
an
the
extra
mage
edge in
weapon.
battle.
She can use all that
Face what's
stuff,
coming. You'll need all the strength
and just
and muscle.
skew things in order to make it so that you can
Sensing
play
its
them in all
fate
different
hang-
styles. Where have you seen this before? Well, if you ever played fucking Final Fantasy X-2, I feel like they went back and they went to Final Fantasy X-2. So in Final Fantasy X-2, they have something called dress spheres. Mind you, these are all derivatives of the job system. I understand that was like popular in Final Fantasy 3 or whatever. But they have something called dress spheres in X-2 where the character changes clothes and jobs at the same time to make it so that you can have Yuna and Riku and the other girl just be whatever job you want it to be. Have like one could be a tank, you could do this, you could do that, you know, different outfits. It's kind of like a customization thing, right? Look, in this one she has Tidus's sword, which is awesome, right? Now, and even bounces like him too, right? So then I feel like they took inspiration from that, from the dress sphere, and also Lightning Returns. Lightning Returns also has like Cloud. No, is it Zack Close? Zack DLC? No, what's it fucking called again? DLC. Cloud DLC. It is Cloud DLC. So they made, so in Lightning Returns, which is part 3 of Final Fantasy 13. Lightning, she's the only character in that game. You don't play as anybody else. You only play as Lightning. And they changed the battle system so it's more like what you're used to now in the remakes, the remake trilogy. So she gets to equip different clothes that are different jobs, right? The Cloud one was a DLC that was free with the pre-order if you pre-order the game, but it's called a schemata. So you get this, you get to dress as Cloud. You can still customize it so you can switch all the weapons if you need to, but the clothes really just change a lot of the abilities and stuff like that as it happens. This is the Cloud DLC. I wish these games got a remaster, honestly. Or some a little bit of a rework, but like a remaster. You're only playing as her. And you're only, as you can see, you only have to press square, triangle, and circle to fight, to do things. It's like half Kingdom Hearts, half Final Fantasy 15. They were trying to find like the perfect balance of RPG and combat in a way that was like rewarding. And I feel like this is the very first step of it, and it was like working, and which is why I really like Lightning Returns. Even though it has like the most insane story, it's like completely ridiculous. So the job system, or the fit system that they're calling it in the remake trilogy, is very similar. This is them talking about the weapons, how do you deal with the weapons.
The world is torn apart. You and your friends
It's cool,
must unite.
I like that.
In Revelation, we come to the thrilling conclusion of the Final Fantasy VII saga, and your mission is clear. Take up your Buster Sword. Equip your materia.
It's great. This is great. And I can't wait for this game to come out. It comes out in February. Well, it comes out in spring 2027, but it might be February, April-ish. You know, April lines up to the first one. Who knows? We don't really know yet. Yeah, so that's how I feel about the Final Fantasy stuff. We have one more thing to take care of, to talk about here. Because I feel like part of it is kind of pointless to talk about. But we'll talk about this one here. The Persona 4 Revival. The Revival.
You ever heard of the
This is the remake to Persona 4 Golden.
Yamano might have been on that Midnight Channel before she died too.
Now, I think it's really good. As a person who's beaten Persona 4, my girlfriend has beaten it like a million times. We talked about it the other day. The character models have changed. It's really cool. The anime cutscenes are still really there, and it's really great.
Whatever's going on here, we're getting to the bottom of it.
The lighting looks so good.
Is to wield direct control of one's heart.
Shout out to Igor.
Is strengthened.
I'm glad they kept like all the major anime cutscenes. That was like a huge part of it.
Someone had to see that.
They gave everybody new portraits. I know you can't see because my face is in the way. Let me just...
Good times never seem to last long.
They were giving everybody new portraits on the bottom left. Some characters who never got portraits are getting portraits.
Come on, don't call me that.
Does Revival have extra story because you just finished Golden? That's a great question, because there is. I'll let you know something, Dom. There is a lot of stuff they had cut out in Persona 4 Golden, like relationships, social links. There was a lot of cut things. Usually in Persona games, there tends to be a lot of cut content. Even when they're remaking or adding stuff to it, there are some things they end up cutting. Now, will we get a lot of that stuff? We kind of expect it. We're kind of hoping also that the dungeons change a little bit. But Revival might have extra story. It might change some people's stories so it's like deeper or more complex. Like Kanji, who's basically like closeted, you know? So there's a lot there. So it's very possible that we're gonna get extra stuff if you already played Golden. We don't know for sure.
All shadows were originally born from humans.
Look at Teddy. There was stuff with Teddy too. Teddy had like more stuff that they didn't do in Golden.
Don't look at me! Does that mean you're just gonna stop?
But the Persona 5 influence is great. And influence, I mean like the effects of Persona 5 throughout this has been so insane that it's really cool to see. Look how much they changed. Bro, the one more they high-five each other. Now you can, by the way, I don't know if you saw that. You can now parry. You can now parry when an enemy attacks you. Where the fuck is this thing? Okay, there it goes. So now when an enemy goes ahead and like attacks you on the overworld, you can fucking parry and attack. Before it was they either hit you first or you hit them first. But now sometimes you can go, oh, fuck you, bitch, I hit you now. So this is great. It's like they're adding a little bit of the mechanic.
I'd like to help too. I'm not running away.
Now, also by the way, which people started talking about yesterday, it's called 4 more now. So now they extended the 1 more hit to 4 more, which means like there could be more. Also, they changed the menu. The UI has obviously gotten a huge renovation because of Persona 5, and it's amazing work in UI. But they implemented like something crazy for this too. I love the fact that right here the face buttons are the TV dial, the old school TV dial, because this is mostly about TV.
I'm not running away from this.
There's prime time now on All Out is also called the series finale. So look at the All Out attack. Now they make it so that it's a huge cutscene. You guys are running around them, fucking them up, instead of it just being like Looney Tunes level of cartoon, like bing bang boom. Look at that. That's beautiful. February 18th, 2027. It's coming out on everything. Don't disregard where the Xbox stuff. It's on, if you have an Xbox or you subscribe to Game Pass, it's day 1 on Game Pass. But you could buy it on PlayStation if you need to. Don't just think that that's just what this means. It was during the Xbox showcase. Sometimes they don't just say it, but it was confirmed that it was coming to everything. And it's February 18th of next year. I think this is great. I love Persona. I love everything that Persona does. I like the character models look really good. I hope to God that the scheduling is more forgiving. It feels like Persona 5's scheduling of like social links, jobs, all this other stuff was tough, but you get used to it, right? Then when Royal came out, they fixed it a bit, so then they gave you even more opportunities. Persona 4 and Golden was so strict It used to be so strict on what if you wanted to max everybody out and do all the things. It was so wildly strict. I hope they've lessened that. Because when you play Metaphor, which is the Persona team moved over to like a whole nother division, but it's still in the same company. When you play Metaphor, they basically were like, yo, we're not going to be mad strict to the schedule. You could do it if you want. It's a whole thing, you know, but you don't have to be like, oh, on June 18th, I have to meet fucking Chie, you know? It's just better. So I'm glad. I had a hard time with 5 than 3 and 4. Yeah, like 5, because you know what it is? There's not much to do in 4. I don't know 3. I never played Persona 3, Persona 3 Reload. I've never played it. 4, I would see why, because there is less things to do. But if you wanted to do absolutely everything, like max everybody out, there's the whole Rize thing is fucking annoying. There's a trophy for Persona 4 Golden where you have to hear every single one of her lines, and it's like 20. I don't know. It's such a huge amount of lines that you have to like really press out like the L on everything. It's very, very annoying, and you might have to do like 2, almost 3 playthroughs sometimes to do it, unless you know what you're doing. And then also think about it like this: your first Persona game was 5, right? So you're gonna have a hard time understanding the system. Then you get used to it over time.
Good times never seem to last long.
Well, a lot of the games they kept. Look, there's karaoke, the fishing, Nanako, Naoto. This is great.
Come on, don't call me that.
I wonder if they're gonna add like maybe 1 or 2 more members.
I got killed by her other side.
Because sometimes Persona, what they'll do is that if this was a character that was supposed to be part of the crew, they'll like, okay, we couldn't make it work in time, or we couldn't make it work for the story, so we just relegated them to a social link. A lot of the social links also in this game, or even just like random people, get a portrait. Like the professor that dresses like a sphinx, she gets a whole portrait. She gets a whole portrait. So we don't know exactly what's gonna be in all of the content of these games.
So yeah, I'll be counting on you, partner.
But the style is so good. I've been thinking about this for like a full day. The style of this is so good. They've like done such a good job. This is crazy. This is like crazy. I'm so excited for this. And at the same time, they announced Persona 6. There's not much. That Persona 6 teaser was just a real bullshit teaser. I could pull it up if you want. Oh, I closed it. It's a really bullshit teaser for Persona 6. Oh, see, I clicked on the wrong thing. Persona 6. It's been officially confirmed. This is a teaser trailer. You know what? I know people might get mad. It gives off a very Batman vibe, very Gotham vibe, you know, very Riddler, Joker, Gotham vibe. But what we see is that this is like more horror focused. Even the statement that they put out later on was just like, this is going to be more of a haunting experience, more of a darker story, but like the themes I think will be different. And they said, obviously, if you've never played Persona, this is a great time to jump in. Because all the Persona games are like that. None of them are like you have to beat the other ones to play it. But yeah, this is like a graveyard. I don't know if you're like visiting somebody. I don't know if the people are dead. I don't know. I don't understand, but when you watch the teaser for Persona 5, you also don't really understand where the story was gonna go with that teaser. All this shows is like there's a lot of this, there's a lot of hands. It says, who are you? And then the Persona 6 logo that looks like a Riddler thing / DC Universe, but who knows? It's not big. It's not a big deal. Not yet. It's a big deal that it's happening, but it's not a big deal of like we don't know we have no idea what the fuck this is about. But all in all, this was an accident. This was a misclick. All in all, this has been my reactions to the trailer, my thoughts to a lot of the trailers for Summer Games Fest so far. I have the full reaction I have the full actual live reaction for the State of Play on the channel. This was like covering everything over the weekend that's popped up here and there that I found interesting. Tomorrow is the Nintendo Direct. Tomorrow's the Nintendo Direct at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to try my best to react to it live with you guys here on YouTube. If you want to come and check it out. And if not, then it'll go up just like how this is about to go up on YouTube automatically. And then I'm going to break apart all the other videos, all the other parts into videos throughout the day. Today and tomorrow, I'm going to try to put out like a lot of them. So all week, you're going to get slammed. If you're subscribed all week, you're going to see probably day after day after day after day of like all my reactions to all the trailers, just to kind of like get you guys going. And also I'm going to try to stream The Hollower sometime this week, another part to it. I already put out part 2 of that playthrough. I really like that game. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and relax for a bit, probably try to cut some of this up as it is before I have to go and feed the cats and eat. All right. So thanks for watching the past 2 hours.